Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Colonial Sports Center here. My name is Casey Irwine, alongside my brother Cam Wickline, and we are back. This is our last dance here at RMU, and we are excited to bring you a great season of RMU sports after 5 championships last school year. It's exciting time to be a Colonial fan, Cam.
Yes, it is, Case. Exciting for us, senior year, last dance on CSC, with a much bigger thing. Obviously, after last year with Colonial Sports, all the championship success they had, I'm excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah, I'll be excited. Lots of new faces on those teams as well, which you'll hear about all throughout these upcoming weeks, every Wednesday, 9:30 here on RMU-TV. Now, Cam, the football team opened their season on Saturday with a huge game. They went down to Morgantown for the very first time to play West Virginia University, the local school, and that was an exciting matchup. The first time RMU's ever played not just WVU, but a Big 12 school. So, Cam, let's head down to Morgantown for this matchup.
Yeah, let's take a look at these highlights. Starting it off 0-0 early in the first. Cam Markiel with a 10-yard rushing touchdown to get West Virginia on the board early.
Yeah, and this is just such a good run. And RMU's defense in the first half, you're going to see they hold well, but West Virginia getting off to an early start, it looked bad for the Colonials.
Yeah, now here you're going to see Cam Vaughn make a catch for West Virginia, and it looks like they're going to go up early getting into the red zone, but the Colonials defense has other chances. Xavier Stiles forces a fumble, and Kenyon Brown recovers it in the end zone.
Yeah, and Cam Vaughn would actually have a really good day, but trying to do a little too much and is caught unaware by the Colonial, and that was just such a good play. This is a turnover battle. They would win 4 turnovers on the day.
Yeah, the turnovers ended up being a big part of the reason the Colonials were able to stay in this, as you're going to see another one. Erwin Singleton goes here, and Mitchell Robinson forces a fumble. Eldrick Robinson recovers it, but Mitchell Robinson's the one who's credited with this fumble, with the forced fumble here. But you're going to see on this replay, I kind of think it might have been number 7, Jakari Peterson, who comes in that tackle at first. Number 13 is Mitchell Robinson. He's the one that technically gets credit. I'm not too sure, though.
Yeah, Robinson squared, you could say, on this play, but what a play. Again, it was the Colonials defense in that first half getting super dirty and getting down low and making plays when they had to.
The Colonials on offense now. Zach Tanner is going to find preseason All-NEC tight end Chaz Middleton here for 17 yards to get the Colonials into the red zone.
Colonials offense struggled a bit, and that was one of the few passes on this day Zach Tanner would complete. 7 of 21 for 70 yards, but that one was a great one.
Finding Chaz Middleton is going to be the key to success for the Colonials here. Zach Tanner's rolling out. Can't find anything on 3rd and 9. This sets up a Jason Jenkins field goal from 36 yards. He also was preseason All-NEC, so this one's money.
Yeah, and it wasn't just for the field goals, though. He had 11 punts, 453 yards on the day. So what a week for Jason Jenkins on the special teams unit. And that's a sure sign for the Colonials this season. They'll have something secure there.
We mentioned the turnovers. Here's another one. Grayson Burns is going to fumble this one here. Patrick McDowell recovers it. Johnny on the spot. Jakari Patterson with the forced fumble. As I said earlier, this is going to be his only one that he gets credit for, but I've got a feeling this was his second one on the day.
Yeah, and a stare down on the sideline of the WVU bench, and an unfortunate bounce as well. This first half, it felt like on defense, everything possible was going right for the Colonials. It was unreal to watch.
Now, as the Colonials stayed in it in the first half against a big school like West Virginia, the wheels started to come off as West Virginia just started to show their size, as you can see here, when Jaheim White scores a touchdown from 1 yard out. Big men up front just winning the battle.
Yeah, Jaheim White on the day, 18 attempts, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just took down the Colonials right down their throats in this second half.
Now, if the Colonials wanted to win this one, they had to be absolutely perfect, and unfortunately, Zach Tanner wasn't here. So he's going to get chased around the pocket. Hammond Russell ends up forcing this fumble. Reed Carrico recovers it for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, you said they had to be perfect, but overall, 123 total yards on the day, and as I said, only 70 passing yards. And right here you can see it was just all going wrong for the offense of the Colonials.
Yeah, wheels did start to fall off here in the second half. Jaheim White's going to get his second score of the day, this time from 4 yards out, almost untouched in the end zone.
Yeah, and you just can't make it that easy, especially in the trenches and especially that close to the end zone.
It's 31-3 now after a Cam Vaughn touchdown we didn't show, but here Sincere Bowers goes from 26 yards out rush to make it 38-3 after the PAT.
Yeah, and West Virginia fans, they would be happy with this one. 57,000 in attendance, maybe the most that have ever come to an RMU game, you could say. But after that first half, they had booed their team off after the offensive performance, but it took over in the second half.
Yeah, credit to the Colonials for where it's due, sticking with the Mountaineers for this one. You see Scotty Fox Jr., one of the backups, come in. He scores a 59-yard touchdown going down the sidelines. Nothing to sneeze at. Colonials do end up falling this one 45-3.
Yeah, to Colonials again. They stuck it to them in the first half, getting all those turnovers. You almost started to feel a little bit of magic. People were starting to post about it online, but in that second half, the plot was just lost for the defense and for the offense. They never found it. So this one they fall, but definitely have some good positives to take away, especially on the defensive side of the ball, as they look to compete in the NEC this year.
Yeah, that was a good showing for the Colonials in this one. To see a little bit more about what happened in that game, we have our very own Joey Backpack Dramasic going down to West Virginia. Take a look.
Welcome to Mountaineer Field. I'm Joey Dramasic, and the RMU Colonials are set to kick off their season against the West Virginia Mountaineers in under 2 hours from now. The Robert Morris Colonials open their 2025 campaign as they travel to Morgantown to face off against the West Virginia Mountaineers. This was Coach Rich Rodriguez's first game back in his hometown in over 16 years, kicking off his second stint with the team. The Colonials knew they were in for an uphill battle, but may have turned some heads early in the game, with the game being a tale of two halves. The start of the game was the opposite of what the Colonial defense hoped for, as the Mountaineers stormed down the field and started the game up 7-0 just after the first drive, going 83 yards in 10 plays. The Colonials would have a tough time responding to the touchdown and could not get anything past the bigger and stronger defensive front line that the Mountaineers presented. The slow start wasn't only because of the more athletic Mountaineer defense, but because of simple mistakes by the Colonials, with numerous drop passes and some miscommunication on the routes ran by the receivers. The Colonials, however, would have a second quarter to remember, forcing 3 turnovers alone in the quarter. Jason Jenkins would bring the Colonials within 7 points with a field goal late in the half, but the Mountaineers would have a 10-3 halftime advantage over the Colonials. Coach Bernard Clark recognized playing in such an environment was special to his players, saying,
I told him before the game, I said, this is why you come play college football. You come and play in front of, I don't know how many, was it 60,000 people? I mean, you're talking about 60,000 people, it's the biggest atmosphere they've ever been in. So I was proud of how they started the game out, like I said, because they started out playing tough, they started playing hard, and in front of this crowd. This is why you go to college. This is why you go play college football.
Unfortunately for the Colonials, the story switched after halftime as the Mountaineers pushed away from the Colonials early in the third quarter, taking a 24-3 lead heading into the fourth, and ultimately scoring 3 more touchdowns in the fourth to walk away with a 45-3 win over RMU. The Mountaineer offense took control, gaining 625 yards of total offense, including a whopping 393 yards in the run game, with a heavy amount of that total being in the second half. Coach Clark, after the game, stated,
But, that's what they call the season. You gotta get ready for the next one.
well, there you have it. Not the start that Coach Clark and the Colonials wanted, but a lot of positive signs on the defensive side of the ball, as this week is going to be an important one as they take on Youngstown State this upcoming Saturday.
Thank you for that, Joey. Casey, some positives coming out of that game.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the defensive side of the ball. As we said, RMU, this is a team that struggled a few seasons ago. Then last season, 7-5 overall, 4-2 in conference. They're looking to push for an NEC title this year, and showing out in the first half, holding a Big 12 school to only 10 points. Doesn't matter, if they are having a bad day, first game jitters, whoever was in, second stringers or not. That's a lot of talent to hold at 10 points in one half, so definitely something to look forward to for the Colonials.
Yeah, definitely some positives out of that game. Now, when we come back, we're going to be going from football to the pitch. It's the beginning of the fall semester, so it's soccer season here at Robert Morris. Don't go anywhere. We'll tell you all about that when we come back here on Colonial Sports Center.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, as Cam said before the break, it is officially football season. We just moved on from football, and now the pitch is mowed, and it's nice time for some men's and women's soccer to get back underway.
Yeah, starting off on the men's side, we're going to head up to the NAC to watch the Colonials take on the Mountaineers of Mount St. Mary's. Let's take a look at some highlights. Picking it up in the first half, the Colonials, this one's early. As you can see, just the lineups are still being showed. The Colonials get a hold of the ball here around midfield. They're going to end up playing a through ball to Kyle Schooneman, who comes up just wide of the goal.
And Cam, just wide is a bit of an understatement. Almost hits the team bus. And, you know, every so often you have a few that shank. You know, you might slice it a little bit, but this one.
Case, I gotta be honest, I set you up for that one. I just wanted to see what you would say if I said he missed it. You know, the old just a bit outside.
Well, you know, they usually lose balls on the other side more often into the forest, so at least they'll be able to get that one back.
Not much later, a header into Roy Rahim. Julian Marcos makes an amazing save, diving to his right, but with the left-hand paw, sticks it up, and he's hyped after this one.
Unbelievable save to not only get the paw there, but what's really important is the constant awareness of both the cross coming in, where he is, and the attacker's position, and him heading the ball. Unbelievable work.
That's all for the first half. This game stayed knotted up 0-0, but the Colonials are looking to make a run until they turn it over. Luciano Schifano is going to make his way in, and Josh Lane stands on his head here.
Yeah, what a save by Josh Lane. Starts with another poor turnover by the Colonials, Cam, and they just keep attacking. They can't get the ball, and that one's wide, but I mean, starts off with this turnover that looks like what I would do if I try to step over that quick in a real game, and falls on his face, but a great save by Josh Lane to keep the Colonials in it when they need to.
Now the Colonials potentially dangerous in this set piece, but Julian Marcos, who had an outstanding game, ends up coming up big for the Mountaineers here again after some wildness up in front.
Yeah, just the ball bouncing around. Someone's got to get ahead. Someone's got to get a foot, but no one does, and the Colonials don't get that one.
The one thing you haven't seen in this highlight is how physical of a game this was. Both teams ended up getting beat up pretty good. There were a ton of fouls, but Julian Marcos, who I mentioned, his reign comes to an end here for the Colonials as Riley Cotton finds William Dozie Efewubo, who kicks it off right to Kyler Miller for the goal. The Colonials go up 1-0.
Yeah, beautiful setup, beautiful work by Kyler Miller to know where he is in terms of the line, where it is, and a fantastic touch and finish right into the bottom left corner. You'll see here on the replay, he knows exactly where it is. It's a perfect pass and just slots it right in there for the winner for the Colonials, and this one knocks over the flag as well with a nice celebration.
Yeah, the Colonials do topple Mount St. Mary's 1-0. They get their they get the home win.
Yeah, Cam, and now let's go on to women's soccer because a great goal was scored. You know, I was at this game. It was women's soccer against Canisius, a last-minute winner. Let's take a look at this against the Golden Griffins, an out-of-conference game. You can see here, it's been a deadlock, not too many shots the whole game. This one looks like it's going way over, but out of nowhere, Ivy Chaskelson just appears, crosses it in the middle, and Madison Hurst is free and gets the head on it and wins the game for the Colonials. An absolute steal right at the last. You can see, looks like it's going over, but Ivy Chaskelson, who had done great defensive work the entire game, gets the cross in right before it goes out, and Madison Hurst, the sophomore forward, she gets the goal, and she is the current top scorer of the Colonials after being a Horizon League all-freshman team player last season.
Case, obviously that's a beautiful goal. There's no denying that. But what sticks out to me about that play is the effort. Skill is obviously a huge part in sports, but the effort the Colonials showed on that play, a ball that 99% of the time probably just goes out, and it's not that big of a deal. But the effort to go get it out of the corner, and then the effort to be there for the cross to head it in, that's what sticks out to me about that play.
Especially that late in a game where you've just been running back and forth, trying to defend, trying to get something in the net. It had been back and forth, especially in that back second half, and very physical of a game as well, especially. It was getting chippy for sure. And to have that energy left in the tank, to put it all out there and then get that last-minute goal, what a way for the Colonials to have some end to the non-conference play.
Yeah, we just showed a couple of wins for both the men's and women's soccer teams, but let's take a look at their season so far. It's been a bit up and down for the women's team. The men's team has not really been much of anything if you go based on win-loss tie record, how they've got a couple ties in there.
Yeah, it's been a mix for both teams. Of course, the men's have not lost, but they haven't looked too dominant in either. And these are two teams that look really positive. Of course, the men's team winning the Horizon League last season, getting to play against Michigan in the NCAA tournament, and they're trying to find their stride again. But really, the women's team, it's a little concerning so far. They've either gotten shut out or they shut out the other team. So really need to find a lot more consistency right there with that team, Cam.
Yeah, Casey, you're talking about the women's team, but the game that I want to highlight on this graphic here is the Duquesne game for the men's team. They were up 2-0 in that one, ended up finishing with a 2-2 draw. You always hear 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in sports. The Colonials proved that one to be true, not able to shut out the crosstown rivals.
Yeah, 2-0, especially in soccer as well. It can be very dangerous. You know, sometimes you might just end up sitting back, getting too comfortable, trying to just defend more, but then why not just keep up the press and why not keep attacking? Because a lot of times then you get those goals scored on you when you're trying to play it safe too much.
Yeah, just not what the Colonials were looking for. You always know the games against Duquesne get the teams fired up. Pretty surprised that one ended up the way it did.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, and it's not how you want to start your season, especially in a city type of matchup. It would have been almost a really feel-good moment for the men's soccer team, beating a city rival like that. And if they could have closed out a dominant win, made that 3-0 even. But no, it's a 2-2 draw, and then that affects their mindset. But they go in and they get that win, though, in the next game. So it's a good thing to see it didn't put them down too much.
Yeah, that's good to see from the men's team. Women's soccer team has a little bit more to figure out. But we've got some more to show you when we come back here on Colonial Sports Network. You're going to see a little bit of a mashup with Sports Talk in the Berg when we come back here on Colonial Sports Center.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hello and welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now here we're eating a piece of the Casey Irwine pie. Case, what's that about?
I mean, I like sharing my pie. I know it might not look like it, but I do sometimes, you know. And so I happen to produce a little show on RMU-TV called Sports Talk in the Berg. And it's, you know, a little sports debate show. And today we had a little Colonial Sports Center extra segment that you're getting that bonus content right now. And to get you really excited about Colonial sports. So, hey, host Brett McGulick of Sports Talk in the Berg, take us away.
Hello everybody and welcome to the bonus segment of Sports Talk in the Berg on Colonial Sports Center. Good to see you guys from the Sports Talk in the Berg desk. Now I got one very important question regarding the Colonials this year. We're back. Everybody's back. Who are we most excited to see play this year? Josh, what do we think?
I'm actually going to start with women's basketball as my pick. I think this is a team who's very competitive. Obviously, they surprised a lot of people, turned a lot of heads, making a run deep in the Horizon League tournament, making it all the way to the semifinals in Indy. Chandler McCabe's now got a full offseason under her belt, ready to go, and brought in a lot of good transfers. That's obviously going to be the big thing, though, looking at it is this team able to stack up compared to last year, losing players like Isis Grady, Danny Voletich, long-term players and veterans who kind of knew the game of basketball really well in the Horizon League. Now you bring in a couple new players, as in Malcolm from Pitt is one that I'm going to keep an eye on. But I think this women's basketball team is ready to continue their trend of surprising people heading into the new year, and that's who I'm really excited to see.
For sure.
I'm really excited about the softball team. I mean, last year they obviously won the Horizon League Championship. They still have some of their returning stars coming back, and Mary Brandt and Courtney Pulich. And they even got a stud transfer catcher in Rudd. She was a all-league first team last year from Purdue Fort Wayne, and I think that they can continue their level of dominance again this year. And I'm just excited to see some championship Bobby Mo sports.
For sure. I mean, like you said, hopefully we can see another year of championships for Bobby Mill. I mean, last year was so huge in the champion aspect for it. So speaking of champions, you can't leave men's basketball off this list, right? I mean, I know maybe they don't have the exact same roster as they did last year. Only guy that pretty much stayed is Ryan Prather Jr. But 2 words, Andy Toole. Andy Toole's not going to let anything slide. I mean, he worked with so many transfers last year as well. I mean, you're talking about the Horizon League champions from last year, talking about making another March Madness appearance, first time in 5 years for the team. Words cannot describe how excited I am for that first opening game for the Colonials this year.
No, I agree, and I think it's funny you talked about softball because we talked about basketball too, winter sports teams, and then even soccer, men's soccer, and track and field in the fall, who also won championships. I think it's funny because softball coming into that year, you were kind of thinking, oh, well, maybe softball or lacrosse, one of the lacrosse teams could get something going, but really softball surprised us all, kind of like the women's basketball team did. But yeah, I agree. I think all of those are great picks.
That late push by women's basketball last year, really turning their season around and having such a great run, really just showed kind of the resilience of Coach McCabe and showed that no matter what, they can do it. I think that's going to be the same for all 3 of these teams. And all 3 of these teams have seen so much adversity, and maybe not the greatest start to their seasons, but the way they all turned it around is going to be insane to watch this year.
Yeah, they all prove that they can finish strong and fight through adversity when needed. So I'm very excited to see them this year.
Me too. Well, that is going to do it for our bonus segment of Sports Talk in the Berg. We are going to send it back to the guys.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Brett, Josh, and Jordan for that one. Really excited for Colonials and really excited for Sports Talk in the Berg every Wednesday at 5 o'clock here on RMU-TV. Cam, you watching next week?
Hey, any excuse I get to see those guys' faces, I'm watching, Case, I promise.
Oh, well, you'll see a lot more of them this semester and onwards. But now something else you'll see more of this semester and onwards and forever is, of course, our top 5 plays. And that's coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere here on Colonial Sports Center.
Oh, sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
So recently, Gallo has been on quite a run of good shows lately.
That was a big opponent to beat there, but now they move on to the Three Rivers Classic where they've had some pretty good history in it. We're going to take a look at some of these games. They've won it a couple times. We're going to move on into that.
But it's led to the group starting to question his morals.
And that's when I said, you can't wear a sweater vest. Ian Kist wore a sweater vest. Hang on. It's go time. You seeing this? You seeing these?
Can't believe
You
this.
seeing this literature? Hey, Gallo.
Yo, what's up?
What about these PEDs?
Huh? No.
Get on the ground.
It's a shame. Always happens to the best. That's it.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, Cam, I'm getting a whiff in the air. What are you? I'm smelling something. What are you
Dude,
smelling?
it's amazing. It's filling my nostrils with joy. What is that?
Wait, the oven. Oh, my pie. It's done.
What
my
pie?
My pie. It's a top 5 place pie. Oh my goodness, Cam. It's here. It's ready. It's top 5 place. Hot, fresh, ready right out of the oven. Let's get right into it. First one of the year, number 5. We're going down to Morgantown. 57,000 people watch this happen. Cam Vaughn does a little hurdle, but then gets stripped of the ball right here into the end zone. Xavier Stiles forced the fumble. You can see right here, just bam, punched it right out, and that's our number 5.
Now, Case, these are the top 5 plays since our last show, so you're going to see some softball here. Robert Morris down 2-1, bottom 7 of a Horizon League championship game. Sequoia Dunlap decides that she's going to send it to extras when she goes deep here.
Yeah, we had to feature them this week because a Horizon League champion we didn't get to cover at the end of last season had to show them love this week. What a team. What a bunch of home runs you're going to see here. Oh, my goodness, Cam.
Sequoia Dunlap, not even one of the biggest power hitters on the team. That team was absolutely stacked. I could talk about that for hours, but she comes up big there.
Now on to number 3. We're going to go to a goal you've seen earlier, women's soccer against the Canisius Golden Griffins. This one's crossed over. Ivy Chaskelson, the freshman, the right back, gets it on it, and a header goal by Madison Hurst, who was free in the box. Chaskelson had the goalkeeper in no woman's land, and Madison Hurst with the free header and the goal in the last-minute winner for the Colonials.
Casey, I think I'm seeing double. It's a tight game for the Colonials at the NAC late, and it's a top 5 plays goal. Casey, I'm seeing double. The Colonials, this time the men's team, are going to do the exact same thing you just saw coming up big late. This is Kyler Miller with a goal you also just saw.
Yeah, and again, another bottom corner finish right there. Beautiful finish, might I add, and another one that's a late winner. The NAC seeing some special games already this season as they look to see 2 more special seasons and hopefully more NCAA tournament appearances, but already 2 fantastic late winner goals in our top 5.
Casey, I can't wait anymore. You have to tell me what the number 1 play of the week is.
Number 1 play. It's not from this week. It's from way back when. Mary Brandt, she's here. The bottom of the 8th. Walk off bomb. Horizon League champion Colonials. She can't believe it. The freshman of the year, the superstar of this softball team, explodes once again, and it's way out of here, and we had to have it. Walk-off home run to become Horizon League champions, RMU's 5th champion of the school year. And now, Cam, we have more games to watch coming up, of course, this week.
We do have more games to watch. Casey, I'm selfish. I had to take the football game this week. It's the Youngstown State Penguins versus the Colonials of Robert Morris. The guy you got to watch for the Colonials is Chaz Middleton. Only 1 reception last week for 17 yards, but if the offense is going to go, it's going to go through him. He was a preseason All-NEC pick at tight end for the Colonials. This Youngstown State team is going to be a tough one for the Colonials to take down, though RMU is 0-5 all-time when they play the Penguins. This one is at Youngstown State. Going to be a tough one. A couple more players to watch that aren't on that graphic. Jakari Peterson had 2 possible forced fumbles. I already talked about that for the Colonials. Youngstown State, however, Bo Brungard, he had over 250 all-purpose yards. He's dangerous in the air and on the ground for 2 touchdowns. Dathan Hickey was the Stats Perform, which is a magazine, FCS National Player of the Week last week with an interception, a forced fumble. they're going to be dangerous. Watch out for them.
Going to be an exciting one, Cam. Now, real quick, I'm going to go to women's soccer versus Bowling Green. You saw their last-minute winner. This is going to be an exciting matchup. These teams meet for the fourth time ever, last being a Bowling Green win in 2017. Look out for Madison Hurst, the top goal scorer this season for the Colonials, and Peyton O'Malley, the goalkeeper for Bowling Green. She was on the all-freshman team last season. And Cam, that's all for us today here on Colonial Sports Center. We're going to have a great last dance, and you can't wait to tango with us tonight.